This is the January 2020 community video, and this time I asked you what was your game of the year. Now I know this was kind of a weaker question because not many people play new games every year. I have to understand that I'm not always in the same bubble as everyone else is, and I just assumed that everyone would have some great picks, but a lot of people told me, hey, I didn't play many new games last year, and that's understandable. Next month we'll have an even better question, hopefully. But let's go through with this one. I still think it's a good question, but again, everybody's different, everyone has different gaming bubbles. I still think it's going to be fun. Javier Milan, my game of the year of 2019 is Fire Emblem Three Houses. To help you remember what I said in the past comment I made, the Fire Emblem series is my number 3 spot of my top 5 favorite Nintendo franchises. And it's also the series that sparked my love for strategy turn-based RPGs which branch off from other similar type of styles of games, like Shining Force, Stella Glow, and Vandal Hearts. I'm not picking this game because of my feeling for the franchise. I'm picking this game because it means a lot to me in the series and means a lot to their fans, including myself. The game did something that usually makes hardcore fans mad in every series, and that is changing the core game style. They did do that. And yet, the way the company handled the game with such care and love made most of the fans happy, and with the end result, it was a fully voice acting, making it in fully 3D hub world, and a completely new way of recruiting new characters, etc, etc. This game breathed new life into this series, and I'm excited to see what new thing they do in the series, and also the DLC that's coming in March is a good way to start another, start another files on the, oh sorry, I'm so bad at reading this, on this fantastic game. P.S. Sorry for fanboying on this series, I'm just very passionate about it. My first ever Fire Emblem game, by the way, you can fanboy as much as you want. My first ever Fire Emblem game was Fire Emblem Fates Birthright, and I loved it. I loved it to death. I think that one of the biggest strengths of that game for me was that every single combat encounter was just fun. Every single one of them is just a fun experience to go through, and you get excited for everyone. There's never one where you're like, oh, I have to fight this guy, I have to fight that guy. And if you work hard enough, you can have a really great experience on no matter what difficulty level you're playing at. I think it always works out very well as a really fun experience. And because of the many difficulty levels, it allows for many different styles of play. You said something there that I think is very important. It made all the fans happy. But it also united the internet for a very long time. People who never played JRPGs or RPGs in general were playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. It drew a lot of eyes to the series. I think that eventually will become the highest selling Fire Emblem game. And a lot of that has to do with the Switch, but I think a lot of that has to do with word of mouth and the fact that even non-Fire Emblem fans have now become Fire Emblem fans. I wasn't going to buy it, and then I saw my friend was playing and I was like, oh, I gotta get this, and it was such a fantastic experience. I love that game to death. Thackeray Scroggins. Strangely enough, my favorite game that I've been playing lately has been the Switch Ring Fit Adventure. Whoa. Which for anyone that doesn't know is Nintendo's new exercise game, and normally I'm not a huge fan of these type of games, but this one really captured my attention. I've been loving it. The story's kind of meh. It's pretty generic, but the exercises are fun and interesting, and they work. The mini games are fun and interesting and challenging, and it's just a fun fitness game that I find myself coming back to. Also, side note, I'm not sure if your GOTY should be the game you couldn't stop playing this year or a game that actually came out this year. I'm going to assume it's the second one. Honestly, it can be either or. I'm not too rigid when it comes to these community videos because it is a video about just touching base and talking to people about their different likes and dislikes. I don't think it's that much of a big issue. But that's such an interesting answer because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that to be the answer here today of Ring Fit Adventure, and I'm glad it's working. I'm glad that you're doing something that you feel like you can get out of, not just in the video game world, but in your physical life as well. That's a really, really cool thing, and I hope it keeps up for you, and I hope that you can share your results at a later date. In fact, please do. If you're going to participate in these community videos, at the end of your comment every month, just say how you're doing with it. If you're still doing it, if you're not doing it, how you feel after it, just let me know because I'm really interested to hear. Joseph Artsader? Three Houses is just incredible, and I haven't even beaten the other routes yet. Same. Absolutely deserves GOTY after all the insane work and effort put into the game's character, story, writing, interaction, and connections. I really do agree. It was one of those games that I put it in my I didn't pick it as my GOTY, but I put it in my GOTY video because even though I didn't have a lot of time to talk about all 10 new games that I played last year, I felt like it was very important to highlight this beautiful game that like took me completely by surprise. I think that there's a reason why so many people are crazy into it, and people who like wouldn't usually be into those games are crazy into it. Along with the combat just being so freaking superb in this game, being able to explore this world, being able to like actually like see my class progress throughout the years, and there are other games that do that for me as well, like Trails of Cold Steel 3, a game that came out before Fire Emblem Three Houses, is a game that does stuff similar to that as well, but that's more like, I guess, I don't want to say rigid, but it's more linear, because like you have a set number of classmates, you have a set number of characters, but that works for that story too, because there is a very definite like it's the third game in the franchise. It has to kind of like relate back to the old games. But I think Fire Emblem Three Houses was one of the smoothest. I talked about this on Twitter before. It's one of the smoothest experiences I've had with a video game in a long ass time, and I love it to death. Madden ZF for me was Fire Emblem Three Houses. Oh, what a surprise! I'm a longtime fan of the series, and this game is of course not perfect, but it did so much right. It took the franchise to the next level, improved the formula, and gave us 4 different paths to play and experiences to make. The characters and story are so well written, and I'm still playing it because there are hours of gameplay. Really looking forward to playing the DLC in a few months. I am too. I kind of knew Fire Emblem Three Houses would become one of the games that was mentioned here a lot, and why not? It's a superb game. It deserves to be mentioned. It really does. Rebel and Revolt, Kingdom Hearts 3, hands down, the hype was real. I'd waited for that game for so long, and to finally play it made me cry like a wuss. Well, if you're a wuss, then we're all wusses, and I'm definitely wuss, because I think I like cry over every game I love, to be honest, and it's a good feeling in a way. I played the first Kingdom Hearts game. It was amazing. 27 hours of just like pure joy. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. A lot of people said the combat was very outdated, and I can totally see what they're talking about, but I think the level design was more dated than the actual combat. But in general, it just made me want to play more of the game, and I think it's going to be a summer thing because I'm working right now, and I think during the summer I'm going to play through all those games again. Maybe on the channel, maybe not. I was thinking of doing like something crazy, like doing like the Summer of Kingdom Hearts each year. Like every year play like 2 Kingdom Hearts game over the summer. I don't know, that sounds crazy, but it might be fun. Annalise Kunahen? You probably told me how to pronounce this before, and I still can't. I think you did actually in a live stream one time. My game of the year is Astroneer. I had gotten to the game as soon as it came out a long time ago in Early Access, and so much has changed since then. It came out of Early Access February of last year for its official release, and I think it's so amazing. I'm someone who's never really a big space game person, but Astroneer is such a unique concept and charm to it, and there's so much to do. It was so cool to watch it grow and grow and then finally come out. It's going to be a long time before I ever get bored of that beautiful game. It's satisfying to build your way through the tech, your base growing bigger and more complex, going to other planets for new resources and discoveries. I think it definitely deserves Game of the Year. Well, here's the thing, if you love it, it deserves Game of the Year. I think some people always get really torn up about this. If you love Game of the Year, like if you love a game, it's your favorite game of the year, that is Game of the Year. It's simple as. And I'd love to try these games. Again, I think that these videos are always like, kind of like, how do I say it? They're always kind of like, in a way, video game suggestions for myself. And I have no problem like taking it as that. But I'd love to see. I'll look up a bit about it as well afterwards. Mohan Gruel, Sekiro. I loved the combat and how well done it was. The story felt well written, and FromSoft still incorporated their weird lore like they do in their other games. Honestly, a great experience. And look at Mohan cheating. Look at Mohan cheating, saying Resident Evil 2 was a close second. God damn it, Mohan. Didn't I say no cheating? Mohan, you're getting 2 Splindiffs taken off you. You're getting 2 of your Splindiffs taken off you. That's it. You have 2 Splindiffs gone. You only have 5 left. But seriously, Sekiro is like a game that I've played, I think 5 times now over. And like, while it is not as replayable as the other FromSoft games, and why it isn't my favorite of all the FromSoft games, every time I think about that game, I just feel happy. I feel warm inside, because that game, in the weirdest way possible, is a warm blanket. It's so smooth to play, the combat is so intricate and detailed. you're not in the other FromSoft games, you're kind of building up a character, but in this you have to get good at this one thing, and that's what makes it so interesting in terms of a FromSoft game. You can't just like cheese it. You can cheese some bosses and you can cheese some enemies, but you actually eventually have to get good at the combat. And I think that's why it made so many people actually not as into this game as the other games, because in other games, like say Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3, if you are not feeling your long sword or your straight sword, you go up and you respec and you get a great sword, and all of a sudden you're feeling the game again. But in this, if you're not feeling the katana, if you're not good with the katana, you don't want to get good with the katana, and I think it's mostly done in some cases, that's it. That's it. That's the wall you've hit. But yeah, I think it's such a fantastic game. And when Miyazaki won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, I nearly fucking cried. It was such an amazing moment. June. Fire Emblem Three Houses is my goatee. I can't think of any games that have as much content as Three Houses, that are also at the same level of quality. I love seeing the characters' interactions and connections. The game's story is fantastic. Really nothing bad I can say about the game, besides that it's pretty easy, even on hard mode. Hey, we won't complain about easy games, guys. Which is granted is really something I need in the story-heavy games like this. The time and effort they put into the game definitely makes it deserving of Game of the Year. I love that all you guys write these like their essays. You like end it like with a beginning. You have like a beginning and ending and a conclusion, or beginning, middle, and a conclusion. Really good, really good. Again, I don't know what else I can say about Fire Emblem Three Houses other than it's like one of my favorite games of last year as well. Again, I mentioned it in my GOTY video that like it is just this game where I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. Now I don't remember every single interaction. I don't remember every single character, but I do remember the vibes and the environment of that game and how every single time I was in that world, it didn't feel like a chore. It always felt fun. I loved the idea of picking it up every single night, swapping in between the dock and not the dock, charging and not charging. Was just it was like really the first Switch game I've played, because it's the first time I switched back and forth, like doing everything. Oh, I need to go downstairs. Fuck it, I'm bringing it with me. You know what I mean? It's a really, really fantastic game. Oh, this is a first. Kelsey Kirsten says, my goatee is Fire Emblem Three Houses. The amount of content is insane, and I adore games where I get to know different characters in depth. The music is ridiculously good. I love the strategy-filled battles. I love every single ending. Really, I don't have anything negative to say about this game. Again, freaking fantastic game. It's a fantastic fucking game. One thing I could say about Fire Emblem Three Houses, one thing I could say about this game is, building your team up and getting teammates on your team is honestly a really good feeling, because it's different from other RPGs because you have like this definite choice between characters. And yeah, there are other RPGs do this as well, but I feel like in this game you build a trust up with your unit that they can do certain things. It's like, you know that if you put Ash in this one area, you know that he's going to be a good enough archer to be able to do this in a certain situation. You know, if you put like, say, a few, like you have an axe wielder and you're like, I know for a fact, because there's so many axe wielders, it's like, I know for a fact that you can do this at this very moment. There is this trust that's built up with your teammates that I honestly really appreciate. I appreciate so much. Forgive me for like thinking this is probably the most interesting of all. Someone named Byleth, which I think has commented a few times before. My game of the year is Astral Chain, one of the best story-driven games I played, plus I enjoy the combat system with using the legions is a cool aspect. Byleth thinks that Astral Chain is game of the year, while the game he's actually in, he doesn't think it's the game of the year. So that might be something that sways the actual awards here. No, I'm kidding. Very good choice again. Like, it's a game I would love to play eventually. There's so many games coming out last year. I think in total there was like 20 new games that I would like to play, but I only got around to playing around 10 of them. It's a game that I will eventually, I can't say much about it, but it's eventually a game that I would love to play. Awesome Gamer 123 Minecraft, just because it lets me unleash my true creativity, especially with the 1.14 update, and some of the series I've watched on YouTube recently have been spectacular. So yeah, Minecraft. This is a great thing to bring up. Your game of the year can be a game that you've watched intently for the whole year. And while this person has played Minecraft, for me, if I played no video games last year, but I watched someone play Sekiro all the time, I can pick Sekiro as my game of the year. Because that is like the way modern gaming works. You have interactions with people that are beyond just picking up a controller. You can watch people and it's like you're playing the game with them. And I really feel like that's like what I want my channel to be in some cases. Like, we're all playing the game at the same time. Yes, the person who has the controller is not as good as you'd hope, but still. I think it's a good pick as well. Zanpan Khan, Death Stranding. That's it. Believe it or not, another game that I think I really want to play. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Master Dong. I don't know. Okay, well, I shouldn't read this out, but let's do it anyway. I don't know, but I want to hear people's choices. Master Dong, you're nice as always. It's a few comments like this, but thankfully they're towards the end. It's really nice. Wario Land Gold Pyramid. It's a choice between 3 indies. Robot Wants It All, Baba Is You, and Untitled Goose Game. Although Goose has the most hype, I've genuinely loved all 3 of them and don't know if I can pick just one. Now, you might be like, well, is Wario Goldland Pyramid cheating again, Calvin? No, because afterwards I said if I had to pick one, it's Untitled Goose Game. I made them pick, because I want to keep it just one because it makes it more interesting. Like I said, I got so many people telling me that they didn't even know what games released last year. And that's understandable. I have to remember that my bubble is not always the same as everyone else's bubble. While I can afford to go down to the shop with my money and buy a game, some people are still in school. Some people are still this, some people are still that. Not everyone's playing all of the new games last year. So yeah, we're going to pick them very more. We're not going to stop doing Game of the Year community videos, but I still think that I'm grateful for the people that commented. Sorry to the people that kind of had to step out this whole year, this whole month of January. But still, I liked your guys' picks. I think it's if I had to pick one, of course, it's very clear the Fire Emblem Three Houses was the channel's majority goatee out of this video, but then again, it's not a very large pool. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you very soon.